and welcome to Rolling with Reviews. I'm Will, and with me is the board game bard herself,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a review of Balada. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right. Through flip and write mechanics, the players are bards, recording the brave deeds of heroes, and the player with the most captivating story is the winner. So, why did we get this?
So, in the Board Game Geek newsletter, this showed up. Sounded kind of interesting. So we looked into it, checked out some reviews, and picked it up.
Yep. Yeah, we liked the theme and mechanics. So let's move on to what do we like about the game?
The theme and mechanics?
Yes. So flip and write, we like roll and write, flip and write. We like that style of game mechanics. It's just generally a lot of fun, and there's some usually interesting choices to be made.
Yeah, we are interested in the multiplayer solitaire, and then at the end of the game, having something to show for what we've done. And this game does actually fulfill that because, well, you're recounting the tales of hero, whatever name you want, did this and went through these adventures, both to and from wherever they were going.
Yes. Also, in the mechanisms here, there's a bit of risk-taking that is different than I've seen before. Because you're placing in icons in this, I guess, kind of row, this journey, but you're not doing it in order. You are taking risks sometimes of maybe putting in a challenge that might be too hard for you to take on if you don't get the right icons, ahead of it.
Yeah, because there are three different terrains. There are forests, there are deserts, and there are mountains. Yeah. And they're all mixed up on this row.
Right.
And so when one pops up and you have then two choices to put an icon, say, in mountains, well, which of the four mountains, if everything's blank, does that go in? And that's where it comes up, well, I don't know what's going to come before or after because they're out there in the middle or at the end or at the beginning.
And so far from what we've seen, if you don't take enough risks, you're not going to win the game. But if you take too many risks, you're also not going to win the game. So it's definitely that interesting balance, and the balance is, even as much as it's multiplayer solitaire, it's against the other players. What risks did they take?
Yes.
But you don't usually know that till the end of the game.
Yes. Which actually makes a lot of sense because that's the more exciting story I want to listen to. Did I want to listen to Harry that went to the supermarket, or do I want to listen to Bob who fought a dragon in order to get his car washed? Okay. Sure, it still has weird stuff in it, but he fought a dragon. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. Otherwise, the game is still generally light. It is a fast-playing game, so it is more on the filler side of things. I feel like we played it in under half an hour, like 20, 30 minutes, I feel like. Because there's not a lot of in-depth decisions to make. The terrain is popped up, so you got to pick which of the places, and you've got two choices of what to put in that spot. Early on in the game, you have more choices, and then you have less choices. So, but it becomes, there's still challenge, I guess is what I'm trying to say in there, but it's not overwhelming. Speaking of the sheets, it's two-sided, so that's also where I think it really reinforces the theme of it, because the front is daytime and you are, well, not you, your hero is traveling up to the mountain, and then the back side is like dark blue and black because it's nighttime, and the hero is going down from the mountain, leaving whatever excursion he or she did up there.
Yes.
And then lastly, the art. It's hard to with art. It's always going to be very subjective, and it's hard for me to say exactly why I like this art, but I just do. I like, I guess, the starkness of most of it being black with just splashes of color. It just really feels very evocative. So for me, I really enjoyed the art style.
Yeah, if you're familiar with a film like Sin City, where it's mostly black and white, but red to emphasize those important parts, that's what it does. It just kicks in, grabs your attention, like, oh, that's important.
Yes, agreed. So I think that's everything on why we like the game.
Yes.
All right, So what do we not like about the game? For me, I think a very important part is it needs a scoring summary on the back of the rules. I'd say on the sheet, but the sheet's pretty full, and the fact that you flip it. But there's just a lot of different ways to score, and there's a lot of nuances in for all the different scoring. So I had the rule book open almost every single game we played, and just flipping through it of how did that work again, and trying to find which section in the book it is. So a shorthand summary, I think, would have been very helpful.
Which actually wouldn't be a hard thing to mock up.
That's true, I'm sure, or at least I hope eventually that'd be something somebody makes a file of, or maybe the designers or publisher will make something available. So it's just a quick little summary sheet, print it out, and just have it at the table.
Yeah. Another thing that I'd say is probably a dislike is I wouldn't say this is a binge-worthy game. If you play too much of this, you're going to be trading it away. Yeah. You play this to spice up the filler, but only play one game of it, because the way it's structured, I think the limitations in what you choose can really start feeling like, well, I'm playing maybe too much of the same thing.
Yeah, it definitely, as much as I like it, and I do like it, it can start feeling a little samey if you're playing too much of it. But if you have a big game night planned and you want a nice filler, either beginning at the end or whatever, this is a good one to put in. Probably not one to play, every week, or something, or every game night or something like that. But I think it's a solid one that would be good for a rotation. But yeah, don't overplay it.
Yeah. Because I know there's games like Lucky Numbers. Oh, God. I'll just play like most of the night, and like, where'd the rest of the night go?
Yeah, we just played 6 games of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get the same sense of satisfaction out of the game, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else we dislike?
No, because like I said, there was a scoring summary, so it's just the scoring metrics can be kind of confusing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, then when it comes to our reviews, we each have 1d6 worth of ratings to give. 1 is low, 6 is high. We give a number, reason why. Add those together and see what it rolled for us. Sarah, what did Balada roll for you?
It rolled a 4. I do like the game. I like the theme, the fact that we are recounting this hero's journey, the fact that the sheet is double-sided, so you have basically 2 rounds to try to do well. So you can, not that you can mess up on the beginning, but you get this feeling of, okay, well, the journey up the mountain wasn't so great, but let's make the journey down the mountain really amazing and awesome. And I think, honestly, for me, half the time I was just trying to do better than I did the last game, because I never did it quite as well as Will did. And I think that might have been I wasn't taking as many risks. So that's kind of also a thing that made me not like it as well. So I was like, am I ever going to do better than Will? We have the same options and I'm making different decisions. I'm just not making the best one, I guess. I don't know. I also just had general difficulty with the different scoring metrics and just trying to remember them. I was always constantly asking Will, or opening the rule book, flipping through it and being like, how does that work again? And I'd have to look at it when that option showed up to make sure I put it in the right place. So it's not just, okay.
And you still made mistakes.
And I still made mistakes.
Yeah.
So it's not just, let's randomly throw some icons down and just see how it works out at the end. It's like, okay, this boss shows up. How does the boss work again? Okay, it's the space, it's its space into the end. Well, I only have 1 space from the end, so the boss is only worth 2 points. That's not worth putting on. So those kind of things, and just wish there was a cheat sheet, but maybe there will be, a guide or something.
You could make one.
I could make one.
Yeah.
And I think also what it comes down to, as much as I do enjoy this, like we discussed, I wouldn't want to overplay it. And generally, there's just still going to be other filler games of this style that I like better. So I'm not sure I would always ask to play this game. But if someone brought it up and said, hey, I'd like to play Balada, I'd be like, okay, let's play it.
Yes. For me, it also rolled a 4. And it comes down to the fact that as much as I like the game, and I want to stress that I really like the game, it has its limitations. Yeah. And as Sarah pointed out, it's not a filler game that I want to play over and over and over again. but it is one that I want for variety. I have plenty of other filler games, but I can get tired of them because I'm on my 20th play in a single night of Lucky Numbers. I'm just going to say that because I can see that happening.
Yes.
And I need something else, and I just don't have enough time for a full game because I wasted it all on the other one. So Balada does fill that in terms of variety. And it does a very good job at what it does in that respect. However, the complex scoring little minutia in there does make it a little sloggy at times. Not terrible. It's just it's ones that kind of trips it up where I'm guessing it's like they couldn't figure out how to streamline their rules to make it all very consistent. But is that interesting either? I'm not so sure. So there's just a few areas where I feel the polish is not completely there, but for what it is, it doesn't need to be there. So it just kind of puts it at a 4 for me.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so between the two of us, 8 out of 12, that's actually a pretty good score for
I feel
filler.
that this is a really good game. It's one we're going to be keeping, at least for now. I can see us playing this. Like Will said, maybe not as much as other filler games or even other flip and write games, but it is one that we will play. And actually, I'm looking forward to teaching it to friends when we get back together.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be a great one for... I think the other thing that brings it down to a 4 is it might be a little too solo play.
True. Even other flip and writes that we've played have at least one thing you're actually competing on to still kind of pay attention to what everyone else is doing. This one doesn't have anything that you're competing on. You're literally doing your own thing, which, you know, sometimes you want, but then just comparing scores at the end may not always be what you want.
It doesn't even encourage you to sing the song that you're essentially composing.
Yeah, but you can always share the storyline of what your hero's doing and sharpening his weapons and going to fight the little minions, and we haven't done that, but we probably should, and I think that might make it more interesting.
Okay. Well, there's plenty of room to play with.
Yes.
So, again, 8 out of 12, not bad for such a small game, and it is important to know that pretty much the only way to get this is the BGG store.
Right, because that's the newsletter we got was the Board Game Geek store. It said, hey, these are the new games we got in. And I tried looking elsewhere, at least for the US, because I know this is an international company. I believe there's like 6 rule books in here. So lots of different languages. That's the other great thing is there are 6 different languages in here.
And that does mean 6 different rule books.
Yes, that does mean 6 different rule books.
That's a lot of rule books.
But yes, Board Game Geek store, their personal store, not just the marketplace, is currently the only way that I know to get it. Maybe, hopefully, eventually it will get into wider distribution. But if you're interested in this and looking for it, check there first.
And hopefully it's not sold out.
And hopefully not.
Yes. So that will do it here at Rolling with Reviews. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with 2, that's TWO. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And you can sing with us, for we are Rolling with Reviews.